I'm going to share with you guys a teaching called Threefold Flame, Healing, Transformation of the emotional, mental, physical, spiritual bodies, aspects of ourself. This practice comes from the Ascended Masters. It's a well-known aspect of our bodies, an aspect of our heart. Threefold flame lives in our heart. This comes from ancient mystery school teachings that all the old adepts have gone through, but it wasn't brought to the masses because the people were, well, either not ready for the teachings or suppressed by the powers that be or the church, etc. So only the cellos or the students or the adepts of these teachers of these mystery schools that brought the teachings from the consciousness of the Ascended Mastery levels. You know, if you're interested in that, you can watch my video about Ascended Master consciousness teachings. It lays out an understanding about all this. So, if you want to learn something very powerful, deep, healing, body, mind, spirit, and soul. Okay, so we know we can do meditation. We know there's many different types of meditation. There's many types of things that you can do that you can receive energy, downloads, or go into imaginatory spiritual states, realms to receive teachings. Prayer, ceremony, visualization. That's one of the greatest things of the ancient cultures was that is underutilized, completely underutilized in the awareness of today. The Tibetans, visualization, the Native Americans, visualization. When you make your prayers, you see something already done. You see a healing, somebody already healed. You don't see them getting healed or going through the steps. You see them already healed again. And that's what you're sending to the universe. And bringing all this prayer, power, healing, energy, all the people involved, all the elements, the healing ceremonies, to see that final result. We do it 100%. And we do it like the elders say, beyond a shadow of a doubt. We believe this is going to happen beyond a shadow of a doubt. We don't let doubt creep in. Isn't it interesting the way that term is? A shadow of a doubt. So a shadow is that negative aspect that comes with doubt. So you don't even let it even remotely enter. So when you're doing affirmations, you want to manifest something. You don't want to, you want your life to be a certain way, not controlling or manipulative, just telling the universe, hey, I could use this to be better, and prayers for people, and you got to hold it, like zero in, use your mind, power of your mind, concentration, with the heart, with the emotion. The emotion is the generator, is the power source for what you're visualizing, praying for. So they have this teaching that they brought through. I have it right here in this book. It's called The Threefold Flame. This is a book of teachings from the Ascended Master Consciousness. This one is the Chronicles Lessons, Kuthumi and Jesus. And one of the chapters is actually Threefold Flame. I learned this through other sources, so the Threefold Flame is an energy. It's part of your heart space, on the heart chakra, on the etheric level. And when you do this meditation, you expand it. You got to expand the threefold flame. Threefold flame is it's 3 colors. It's a flame. It has 3 colors. There's pink, there's gold, and there's blue. Pink for love, gold for wisdom, blue for power or strength. And you imagine it. So you start off like this. There's like 12 steps. We're going to go through 12 steps. What's going to happen? Why are we doing this? Because when the I am presence, when the God consciousness, the higher self comes through touches the pineal pituitary, it comes through, it drops in through the throat chakra, through the crown chakra, through the thymus gland, high heart, and it lands in this, it's like lands in this, like being caught by the threefold flame. You got to get me. It's esoteric teaching, guys. These are esoteric. They don't sort of make sense. But when I started doing this about several months ago, my life started changing dramatically. I literally was going through initiations. I was literally going through downloads from these teachers on the other side. Literally was connected to the Ascended Master Consciousness. I mean, I was picking it up so fast. I was transmitting it back out so fast, doing the threefold flame, and it's kind of, you got to concentrate. You got to do it out of steps. So it's not that easy, but as soon as you start integrating, what it does, it integrates all the parts of yourself, your mental aspect, your physical aspect, your spiritual, etheric, and your emotional feeling side of life, which is the most important, because that's what gets, our emotions get knocked out. Once they're knocked out, our thinking goes off. We start reacting. Instead of acting to life, we start reacting, and we're controlled. That's where the PTSD and fight or flight comes in. It's based on those emotions. The world's throwing this around right now. People are getting their lives being thrown around by the energies and the transformations and the what they're telling us on the media, is on the news. The fear, conflict in the world. And so we have to get all our pieces back in order. We got to get our ducks in a row. We got to pull our pieces back in. We got to pull our lost, loned, or stolen pieces back to ourselves. Another term is called soul retrieval. And we have these 4 aspects. They call them bodies, but they're like aspects of our being, which includes our aura and our physical body, our emotional body, mental, etheric, which is like the spiritual, and the physical body. So, and this is what the Ascended Masters say about the threefold flame. So I'm going to read a little bit before we do the practice. Threefold flame. He maketh his ministers a flame of fire. To all who would partake of the fruit of the tree of life, the path of service as a means of finding the allness of God has been well outlined. Let us therefore study the best method for attaining conscious immortality as an adjunct to loving service. Blessed ones, the threefold flame, which is the seat of your life and consciousness, has been too little understood. The tri-unity of power, wisdom, and love functions as one. However, wherever one quality manifests, the other 2 must follow, if you are to express and enjoy the fullness of Christ good consciousness. The balancing of these Christly qualities is the present major goal of our students. This is accomplished through balancing the threefold flame, which you may visualize as a single sacred fire having 3 plumes resembling a, whatever that word is, each plume focusing, it's like a feather or something, each plume focusing one of the primary God qualities of the Trinity. To increase the size of the threefold flame remains a secondary goal. That's where I said you expand it. For unless balance is first achieved, it would only become more unwieldy. Power, focused by the blue plume, wisdom focused by the yellow plume, and love focused by the pink plume, is related magnificently to the angelic radiation of faith, hope, and charity, and to the light of the Father, the life of the Son, and the love of the Holy Spirit, in threes. In fact, these interrelated flame symbols of a triad action focus the personification of the Holy Trinity within you. Now, as Saint Germain has told you, light is the alchemical key. Hence, your comprehension and expansion of the elements of your light, which is indeed your power, is the key to spiritual magnificence and the immortal life guarded by the perfection of immortal wisdom and love. It is. Consider for a moment the core of minute particles of material substance is composed of light, which emanates from the white fire nucleus of the atom. This light is directed from the heart of God and the great central sun to the border kingdom of God in the spherical and peripheral world of so-called matter. It is important for you to realize that the natural flow of this sustaining power is administered by the divine intelligence inherent within creation and directed by specific hierarchical manifestations such as cosmic beings, Elohim, angelic hosts, nature divas, elemental spirits, as well as exalted man, ascended and unascended adepts, or advanced students, who have attained by grace various states and stages of control over natural law. These are really, really wise scientific knowledge beyond our science. These guys have been, the Ascended Masters have been here for at least 12,000 years, we know that, working from the higher angelic level plane. So this is deep. Sometimes you got to hear this over and over. Look it up on YouTube, Threefold Flame. You see, there is a sun behind the sun. There is a unifying essence behind outer manifestation, which is wholly spiritual and an immediate part of God, yet contains the formula for the coalescing of matter, molecule by molecule. The great master Saint Germain has often used the term light to denote this causative aspect of deity, as have others of our brotherhood or sisterhood, both. However, discrimination is needed. For just as there are people and people, there is light and there is light. Even so, God has retained in his great heart of love, securely locked within the tree of life, the causal body, which is a combination of all the good karma that we've ever done, is another aspect of our being. Deep stuff, guys. The tree of life, causal body, and the mysterious fruit, God consciousness, of the tree, of that tree, which, when divinely partaken of, does make the Son of Man as the manifestation of God to live forever. Now, what does that mean? Yet the deepest mysteries of past ages can be understood through a simple explanation. If you will give us your undivided attention, for beloved Jesus and I desire you to become as we are by the assimilation of the body and the blood of our teachings. This is Kuthumi, one of the greatest Ascended Masters, the greatest masters in this universe. Divine love holds the answer to the release of immortality. And with anyone who manifests any feeling less than love for all of life or any part of life is denying himself the secret elixir of immortal life. Man can no more deceive or thwart the great law than he can rise from the earth and ascend bodily into heaven without the assistance of the Almighty and the release of the spiritual energies of his God self. We're not getting there on our own, folks. the ego and the little self. Nope. like nobody knew that. The earnest student must believe us when we say that so long as a trace of human feelings, mild dislike, including subtle jealousies or hatreds, remains in his consciousness, he will be unable to summon the great love magnet of the central sun to assist him in obtaining re-entrance into the paradise of God, where the tree of life spreads its all-enfolding branches of beneficence. The law makes no exceptions. When the necessary purification of the consciousness is accomplished through the holy service to life and a concerted decree effort, and the candidate stands purged by the violet fire, stripped by divine reality, the Holy Spirit, of every trace of impure thought and feeling, he will be allowed to stretch forth his hand to receive the fruit of the tree of life. So that is why we do the work, my friends. We have to do the work in order to get to the highest states of consciousness, according to the Ascended Master Consciousness, these are the teachings going forward for the next whole age. So when it's talking about the threefold flame in the beginning, we're going to purify. We're going to use it to purify the emotional body, the physical body, the mental body, the spiritual body. And all these bodies get purified. They're all over the place and all whacked out from this worldly living. They're going to coalesce right into a beautiful symmetry, a beautiful harmonious flow. And when that happens, you're going to feel your mastery kick in. You're going to feel your knowledge you didn't know you had. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel alive. You're going to feel healthy. You're going to feel ready to go. You're going to feel led to go in the direction that you're being guided. The courage is going to be there. The fear is going to be knocked out. All this illusionary stuff, all this inorganic reality, all this TV, all this how society is trying to make us think in this crazy world, right? The darkness, the dark side. But when you get out of nature, it's like you spend the whole day in nature, or you go camping, you're like, oh my God, this is so natural. Well, this is what this does. This brings us back into a naturalness within our beings, within our body, mind, spirit, soul complex. Seems odd, seems strange, seems new, but it's really ancient. And its teachings going forward. So, this initiation is given by the great initiator, our beloved teacher, the Buddha Lord Maitreya. Buddha Lord Maitreya. He's one of the Ascended Masters. The Buddha from the Buddhism, he's one of them. It makes sense. These great teachers are here, then they go there. They go back to their realm, but they're teaching the teachers here. They're teaching the getting out the messages out to the masses gradually through the gift of, thank God, the YouTube and the books, and thousands of books have been written on this. Look it up. The initiation from our beloved teacher, the Buddha, Lord Maitreya. This first fruit is a conferment of the power to direct light's energy, henceforth magnetized by the initiate, which is the student of these ways, from his own sun source, the I am that I am, God consciousness, into the atomic structure of his four lower bodies at will: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. This light of God, which is the only light that never fails, then rushes into the original channels where the all-sustaining power formerly flowed. And we've lost it over time. The all-sustaining power formerly flowed. There, through its self-luminous, intelligent quality, the light transmutes, thread by thread, the overlay of the old energy paths, and the old garment of the human consciousness as it weaves literally cell by cell the transcendent perfection of the seamless garment of the living Christ. The living Christ who we really are. By divine grace, some special souls upon the earth demonstrate certain phases of Christ's accomplishment without passing through the transfiguring experience of which I am speaking. This is because the great law of love, in its mercy, responds to people's hearts, whatever their state of consciousness, releasing them into the greater life by all their good deeds, all their merit, as a parent would help a child climb a stairway to the stars. Needless to say, it is the conscious victory of the living Christ in action, scientifically demonstrated, which every disciple of the beloved Saint Germain, of Mother Mary, and Jesus, and all the ascended masters of the Great White Brotherhood must seek to express in his daily living. And they don't really use the Great White Brotherhood so much anymore. This book has, been out for many years because of the racial. People are afraid it's a racial connotation when it's really saying white is impurity. It is beggary and paupery for men to deny the greatness that is within them, and to seek without for the light of God that sustains their very life. The grace of heaven must be focused within the true domain of one's being and individually, and here I speak both metaphorically and actually. The power of the light behind all light, the unfailing light of God, must be invoked and focused in man ere he can rise in consciousness until he actually ascends into the light realm of freedom, which is the heavenly home of everyone who has successfully passed earth's tests and has dared to step beyond the veil of human ignorance. Thus, the glorious flame of luminous obedience to divine law must express the fullness of love's immortality within man, as his thought and aspiration rise towards God. While the snares of astral and psychic densities continue to pour out a vaporous stream of appeals to human vanity, beloved Saint Germain holds forth, as does every ascended being, the image of the immortal reality of divine selfhood as the goal of every life. To point the way to the attainment of this goal is the greatest service anyone can render. Proceeding then with the transmutation, layer by layer, of his human creation, his karma. The one who aspires to the office of the divine calling of ministering servant, bringing teachings, bringing healing, is in the very best posture to concentrate on balancing the integrated action of his threefold flame. I'll say that again. Proceeding then with the transmutation layer by layer of his human creation, his karma, the one who aspires to the office of the divine calling of ministering servant is in the very best posture to concentrate on balancing the integrated action of the threefold flame. This he will do by calling for the affirming in all his affairs a real well-rounded manifestation of God's consciousness of power, the blue, wisdom, the gold, and love, the pink. 3 aspects of the flame. This is his command by free will according to his own discriminating intelligence. We've got a couple more pages. First, he will take care that any and all acts, including both words and deeds, which always require energy, power, determination, and will to accomplish, are not compromised by human willfulness, rebellion, pride, anger, aggressiveness, ambition, or any such abuses of the first ray of God's powerful will, which is one of the colors of the rays based, and it also represents the lower chakra, which is the chakras which are will, the will centers. Second, that's why we raise the consciousness. That's why we raise up the chakras. It gets more and more refined from the density of will to love of the heart, to surrender to the higher consciousness, to giving ourselves to God, to be vessels, to thine will be done. And then because the higher finer is what the higher self, the higher aspect is always here working. It is who part of us are all multidimensional beings. But when we get down into what they call the gross body, the dense body, this is where we get into duality. This is where we get into survival mentality. This is where we get into the fear and the duality and the manipulation of denser, darker forces that put us in those states of, I don't know what that is up there. I don't understand any of that higher consciousness stuff. I don't even want to do that. It's scary because they've tricked us, manipulated us, and told us all these things are wrong when it's just been covered up. It's been a lie, hidden history. All this is coming out now, and all of the, Gaia channel, all the knowledge, all the YouTube, all the teachings, all the consciousness, all the events, ceremonies, you name it. So, time to go with it. Time to let go and fly, be free. So I'm turning this from the higher consciousness in through the body into teaching, so you reconnect and reconnect back up. We know what Earth is about, the density. We've done all that. Struggle, this, that, and separation and conflict, and if you just eat all the food off the shelves, you're poisoning yourself. The water, you have to watch, you have to eat consciously, you have to think consciously, you have to act consciously, you have to treat others consciously, and love thyself consciously. So, summarizing. So here we are, doing the work. So the first part was not getting caught in the human willfulness, rebellion, pride, anger, aggressiveness, letting go of all that. The second step is be willing to balance all your activities by the necessary application of wisdom's objectivity and equanimity, meaning complete balance. Proceeding with forethought, study, research, analysis, careful consideration, that each thrust for a purpose is constructive, well organized, and of benefit to gain some part of life. So we're working towards it. We're studying. We're getting a practice. We're having something to do every day. Getting into a routine of doing our teachings, anchoring it in. Doing every day for 7 days, every day for 21 days. It anchors. It changes the brain neural synapses, and it anchors, releases the old and anchors the new transformation. We have to do the work, guys. It's not going to happen by itself. The third step, he will test every move, project, or plan by the measure of God's love, purifying motive and intent with charity and compassion, especially examining it for its own practicality. Will it work? He will unfold his actions with creativity, devotion, carefulness, unselfishness, and gratitude, giving the glory to God and taking care that the work or word contains the essentials to bear fruit. What you're doing, the seeds you're planting, the practice you're doing, the work you're doing on yourself, the shadow work, the clearing out the old. Now we're going into creating the new. Multiplying grace and increasing the Christ consciousness on earth. That's the bearing of the fruit. Continuing to use these standards as the guiding principle for right action, he will always weigh his intentions, this is the student, by the simple formula: right reason, which is wisdom, right motive, which is power, right cause, which is love. With consistent striving towards a well thought out goal and a developed plan of action, realistic and attainable, He may then intensify his mantras to the violet flame, which is the all transmuting everything. Transmutes anything you focus on. Maybe not the first time, it's a practice. It's part of your practice, and it changes things dramatically fast over time, faster than anything else. It's ultraviolet light. It's God consciousness. It's a massive tool. It's like prayer, meditation, violet fire. Okay, they go together. And you're alternating with his prayer to his holy Christ self, which is awakening that part of you, that connection, that oneness with God. That's why it says prayer to it. It's you're acknowledging that part of yourself that's one with God consciousness, which, we're mastering things, guys. We're mastering our lives through these tools. These are advanced tools. Can't help it. This is where I am. Sharing it with you. Balance the threefold flame in me. Christ self. That's what you're saying. Lastly and importantly, he will seal his day, his words, and his works, every blow struck for the Lord, with the blue flame of protection from Saint Michael, Archangel of the first ray. So, you're saying at the end of the day, the last thing you do is you bless all your works, all your words, everything you've done this day with the blue flame of Archangel Michael. Because, we are battling all the darkness within ourselves. We're battling all the residue of darkness, this world, which has been succumbed by darkness. That's what we're doing. We're warriors for the light. We're transmuting, bringing it. We're doing our part to awaken the people and bring this world from dark to light. Highest evolution that's ever been seen on this planet. It's the greatest transformation ever been done on a planet ever at once. It's like the greatest show in the universe right now is the transformation of Earth right now from dark to light. As on Earth as it is in heaven. It's happening now. The Master's saying in a twinkle of an eye, which means, like in a way, many years, a phase of many years, but some people are waking up overnight. Kundalini awakenings are waking up, they're knowing that they're one with God, they're knowing all this outer is BS, all this news and all this media programming from the TV, mind control. Almost done. Getting deep. I trust that every sincere student of this light, having Christ's discrimination, will recognize his responsibility as a servant of truth, to magnify honor, sincerity, integrity, and transcendence within himself and each individual he contacts, in preference to spectacular psychic phenomena and predictions based on astral readings. He's saying, building this